guys, and welcome to today's episode of Welp, Alternate Future of the World. I'm sorry I didn't get to make one yesterday. I didn't have enough time to make one yesterday. So, an apology, we're making one today. So I hope y'all like today's episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. Anyways, let's get straight on to the video. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is Libya. Now, as you know, a long time ago, but really in episodes, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 episodes ago, Israel took this land from Libya. So, they are pretty mad about it. So, to get out all of their anger, they're declaring war on a specific country. Also, it's 2056. Libya will be attacking the nation of Tunisia. However, they aren't the only one attacking Tunisia, because Italy also wants some Tunisian lands, if you know what I mean. And also, even if your country is landlocked, you're allowed to join NATO. For example, look, Czechia is landlocked and they were able to join NATO. I'm just saying that because some people might think Bosnia and Herzegovina is landlocked. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, Italy is also attacking Tunisia, but not on Libya's side. So, Libyan troops go straight into Tunisia, and they take about half of Tunisia. And I say about half because, they took about half. Actually, no, they took like 1/4 of Tunisia, maybe 1/3. Anyways, that's besides the point. Anyways, Italy starts attacking Tunisia too, from the northern area. And it appears that they have no intentions of stopping. So before they fully take them, Libya goes up, connects to Italy, and it takes almost the rest of them. However, Italy finishes them off. And let's look at this peace treaty. Alright, so in the peace treaty, Libya takes half of half of Tunisia, and Italy takes the other half. And that was pretty fair. So now we're gonna come over here to the crippling nation of, Iraq. Because what's happening is an invasion by Iran. Because after they had a democratic leader that was put in place by the US, what happened was, they still wanted to attack a country. After that, that leader said that there would be one thing that they were gonna do: expand land for their country, so they could have more land for, I honestly don't know. More land for other stuff. Anyways, they do decide to attack them after that. So, what happens next is they actually attack Iraq because they are crippling. Like, they are not well. Like, it's bad. So, they start to invade this country so they could get more land. And the reason why it took so long, well, they had to train their soldiers to go over the mountains quick and fast. So Iraq wouldn't just, as soon as they declare war, go on. So what happened is they let a little bit of time go, and troops there went on the mountains. They were at the top, and they had a plan. What the plan was, well, as soon as this would happen, as soon as they declare war, the troops from the mountains go down, and the troops attack Iraqi forces. And it seems like that plan actually led them to this inevitable surrender. Yeah, they surrender. Now, well, the peace treaty is kind of simple. And the peace treaty is already shown now. Yeah, they just fully annexed the territory, technically ending one of the world's oldest countries. In fact, I think they are the world's oldest country, because if I'm right, they are Mesopotamia. However, they became Iraq, and there's also been a lot of colonization and stuff, but who knows, maybe they're coming back in the next episode. Nah, who am I kidding? There's no way they're gonna come back. Anyways, the next thing is about Yemen and Oman. They feel like they should unite. Reason being, well, they would be more powerful together. And this reason somehow makes it so they unite. Yup, they unite. And they are called Yemen. Yeah, I cannot think of a good name for it. I had originally Yemen or Oman or... But yeah, those were... Anyways, it's besides the point. But they were also thinking about uniting with the UAE. And the UAE was also thinking about uniting with them. So, as soon as they see that, they ask if they could be a part of this too, which they say yes. And now they are called the Eastern Arabian Coast. Yeah, I think that's a good name. Wait, no, the Southern Arabian Coast. Yeah, that's a good name. Anyways, Afghanistan has been relatively quiet. Who knows why? Is it because India literally is right next to them? Because NATO is right above them? Because Iran is right besides them? Because the new China is right above them, kind of? No one knows. But one new thing happens over in Venezuela. Nah, I'm just joking, not in Venezuela. But it is on this continent. You see, Brazil has been quiet. Almost too quiet. And the reason why I say that, they have recently been only focusing on themselves. They've been focusing on the infrastructure. They've been focusing on building new stuff in their country. They've even been focused on building new technology and also strengthening their military, but they have not traded with any single country at all for the past years. And I mean, it's kind of weird because you see other countries that have not really attacked other nations are, well, you know. But Brazil literally has not done anything. Other countries still have their trades open, but Brazil does not. So what have they been planning? Why are their military and every single other part about them so silent? Well, there is a reason. You see, they want to become one of the strongest countries in the world, which they already want. Which they already are, but they want to become even stronger. They want to become even more powerful than they already are. And over by Brasilia, the capital has, there's been new presidents. However, no new president has attacked any nation. But today, that all changes, as they attack 2 nations. Now, I'm just joking, not 2. 3 nations. They attack Uruguay, Peru. Wait, no, this is Peru. Paraguay, and I forgot this country. I think it was... I know it's over by the Guianas, and I know they were owned by, the Dutch, but I forgot their name, okay? And, let's just call them Dutch Guiana. Wait, no, they're Suriname, I think. I could be wrong, though. But they first attack Suriname, which is, I'm gonna call them Suriname because I do not remember their name at all. Anyways, they attack Suriname and things go quite well. But they're not just in Suriname for military forces. They also attack Paraguay. And the troops they take over a lot. And over time, they take a good amount of land. They take this much land from Paraguay to split them, to be exact. And at this point, they have taken over all of Uruguay. And at this point, Paraguay does not see a purpose in fighting this war as they're losing, so they surrender. Another country that surrenders is them. So, let's look at this peace treaty. Brazil, you sure you can handle that? You see, after they attack all of those three countries, they decide that they want more land. Well, their plan is to have more land than shown. But, yeah. Anyways, before I continue this, I just want to say France gave up French Guiana to Brazil since they wanted them. And France said yes because they didn't really need French Guiana. But now Brazil is attacking other countries. So there will be countries that immediately fall, such as Guyana and really only Guyana. Yeah, they're the only small country that Brazil borders. And you could say that they would fall, but let's be honest. Brazil isn't doing this. They're gonna invade like that. They're gonna invade through another country to get to them, is what I'm trying to say. So, they take a good chunk of Venezuela, and they also take all of this, and Venezuela, seeing this, cannot, after that, there actually is they don't want any more soldiers to get hurt. So, people see that, and this has never happened before, but there actually starts to be rebel groups in support of Brazil winning the war. So, people don't have to get hurt. So, these rebellions link up, and they aren't using weapons. No. They are actually using, they're using cages. And how would they fall for cages, you may ask? Well, in the future, some crazy things can happen. And one of those crazy things that can happen is, making things drop on other people. So, what they did was they made sure they had supplies to build cages. And before this rebellion, they placed cages around a lot of Venezuela. What is holding them up? All very strong ropes. And eventually, these two connect, and they keep capturing troops. They aren't harming them, they're just capturing them. Until Venezuela can't hold it anymore, and they just, boom, they surrender. So that is another country down. And with the country of Colombia seeing this, they opt to give Brazil the land that they wanted. However, the land that they wanted originally is gone. They don't want the land that they wanted originally anymore. Now, they want almost all of Colombia. And they want all of this. Now I'm just checking, not all of that. They actually want... Oops, that's a little bit too much for the line. They actually want all of this. And Colombia knows that happens, so they give them a deal. They move back the line so they can have their actual capital. And in exchange, well, they get more northern lands. Brazil accepts this. So now Colombia has its capital. But, well, yeah. So, Brazil now has a lot of the lands that they wanted. However, Brazil also wanted some land right here, and they didn't give it. So, Brazil will ask peacefully for all of that land. Colombia cannot say no because they know the consequences. And those consequences are very bad. So they accept. So, now their country is very little. And with that, they also decide to just completely... Yeah. They see all of that and they just absolutely obliterate them. So, oops. Let me just cut these off real quickly. Oh yeah, you don't have to be watching this. Alright, so, over time, this is what the war's looking like. Peru is barely holding on, and they're basically the only country that's keeping Bolivia alive. However, the pendulum will go in the blue team's way. Because what will happen is the Brazilian soldiers are tired of doing this war. So they have to drink water, eat food, multiple stuff. However, they all eventually take the capital. It looks like a spark of hope just happened. And that spark of hope lasts for a year. Until the Brazilians finally catch up. They cut off Bolivia, one half of Bolivia. And Bolivia cannot survive anymore. The only thing that's making Bolivia alive is literally Peru. And Peru can't hold on for much longer. As Bolivia is basically gone. While Peru's front lines start to go back. And it's not looking good. And then they surrender. And with that, it also, with the troops in Bolivia, makes them surrender. So, now, the only country that grew stronger has won. They are one of the only countries that's in the northern area. And what happens with this peace treaty? is brutal. Holy smokes! The peace treaty makes almost the peace treaty gives most of South America to Brazil. They're almost done with everything they wanted. The final thing is the Panhandle. Argentina fears of Brazil. So, when they ask for the Panhandle, Argentina gives it up in fear that their country might not last another day. And finally, Brazil's expansion is done. I hope y'all liked today's YouTube. Hold up. There we go. I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. So, I will see y'all in the next episode. Man, I can't believe that I was turned into this. I mean, my powers are cool, but even though I'm president now, and I'm gonna be president for a while, something just doesn't feel right about this. Maybe it will feel better if my nation unites with the rest of my alliance. That might be better.